Do you remember Femboys? Do
I
you know
don't.
what a femboy is? No. So it's like a guy that's like dressing feminine, and eventually to the point where it could be like to the point where it's called a trap, where the trap is, oh, she looks female but actually is not female. That's the point. You know, it's called it. Oh, that's a trap, right? So I remember that, and yeah, this was during the COVID thing, and on top of me just getting away with all these things, but the diaper stuff was always private. Yeah, so like the diaper stuff, like or just really really close people,
Yeah.
that I trusted.
Not
That,
like out in the public, anything like that.
yeah, yeah, and so, but now it's like, I wouldn't tell anyone, even though I'm telling you right now. Like I'm trying to keep it. That's why it has to be anonymous, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think, just thinking about all the things that I've done. It's like, yeah, like maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we should kind of lay off. Maybe we should kind of be more righteous. Yeah.
Do you feel like if you weren't anonymous, it could just essentially follow you in the future and kind of like affect maybe wives, relationships, and stuff like that?
Uh, like if I wasn't anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it can, but like I said, like some people already knew that. But I do like a lot of art stuff, so like I guess in my sense that's kind of like, he's just being doing artsy things. So that's kind of that was my perspective of why I kind of just like was okay with like, doing that kind of display, because it's kind of like, oh, it's a work of art in a sense. Yeah. So, but that was only for a brief time, and it's like as time goes on, it's like people kind of forget, and just I think people are just interested in mostly themselves and what the other people are thinking. So it's like, like it's eventually like it's not a big deal. So, but yeah, just keeping it as private as possible. Even though sometimes sometimes there'll be those times where I would be more public than I should have. Yeah, yeah. But at the end of the day, like it wasn't enough because I think people just mostly care about themselves. So yeah, and they should. They have families. People get older. I personally don't have kids, but eventually, do I want kids? Yeah, sure. And when I do that, then all these fun stuff has to for sure be
Go away.
go away. Like maybe because right now it's away from the public at this point. It's been like that for maybe 2 years, but I wanted to be away from my life for sure if I do have kids. Because you can't have that kind of fun.
Yeah,
It's, yeah.
So tell me, do you have friends now? Just in your life?
Yeah, there are some friends. Very few. And the thing is, like, I'm very shy in general, so like I don't really seek to have friends. So because I like my me time, and when I have my girlfriend, it's like, okay, like she's all the companionship that I need. Yeah. So, but yeah, people have families, and it's like if they have families, it's like there are times where like I don't want to bother them. It's like, but right now, like I seem to be hanging out with my family. I think the relationship is good. So yeah, yeah.
And so I know you say you're kind of trying to get away from the cross-dressing, the fetishes.
Yeah.
So do you kind of feel happier in life now that you're kind of doing that, trying to stay away from it, or were you happier when you were going through it, or sorry?
I think it's happier because having your life in order feels better. Yeah, so it's not as fun, right? Because you go to work, you come back, but definitely it's overall more satisfaction. Yeah, yeah. So like even the cross-dressing thing, like I left that like for like a year, and so I'm like yeah, let's kind of keep it that way, where things could be more stable, because it costs money. It costs money to do all these things. So that's what I really have in mind. Yeah, yeah.
Do you happen to have any other fetishes besides that?
Bondage is fun. Yeah, so like I enjoyed like receiving bondage, you know. So yeah, that was another part of the fetish. But as far as that, in terms of fetishes, yeah, I think that would be the most extreme. Yeah, so I did like doing the, you know, there's this thing where you know, you put your thing in a cage, right? So chastity, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I did that, and so like all these fetishes kind of just revolve like around each other. So if you have this, you might have that, you might have that. So because they just kind of go hand in hand. And what I realized, you know, when I did that, it's like man, it's like it's too much fun to the point, man. Like it's like I'm gonna get distracted and just gonna wanna do that, you know. So I'm like, like so I just threw it in the trash, and so that's what happened. Yeah.
Has drugs ever been a part of your life anywhere?
Yeah, I used to do weed.
Just,
Yeah, marijuana, and then eventually, yeah, like I've done meth, and you know, meth does. It's also one. You know,
Kinda get you
it's like it's all
in the
like they
realm.
have the same story, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have the same story. They you know, it's all like one big world where things kind of go together, and then yeah, but meth, you know, I haven't done it in maybe over a year. Yeah.
Good.
And it's not, yeah, and it's not really something that, how do you say, because it's not stable. Like the thing is, like, what I found, if it's too much fun, you should kind of let go of it, you know. Yeah, because having fun is good, but yeah, there are some things that it's just too much fun that it gets distracting, you know. It tips you to the wrong side, you know.
So essentially, you kind of never really had too much of addiction to it, where you could just kind of let go.
The meth, like I think I reached peak addiction like during the like pandemic, you know, just because, like, you know, the environment was there, you know. Or but it's like I was always like kind of stable and just had a job, you know, so you could just like kind of like keep, because there is such a thing as a functioning meth user,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's like not really
Functioning
known.
addict,
Yeah. So yeah, definitely a functioning addict. Yeah, and so for now, it, you know, just now it's like, okay, like I kind of took a hold of that. Now I want to focus on my drinking. You know, I do drink more than I want to, but it's like, even though I'm still like not able to, how do you say, like I wanted to have a good relationship, you know. So I'm not at a point where like, okay, like I'm belligerent, you know. So I think,
drunk, yeah.
well, yeah. So just, you know, everything looks stable. Everything, you know, you couldn't really tell. But yeah, it's like, I guess there's levels to it. So I guess for me, I guess when it's at its peak, it's like eight drinks, like maybe, okay, a pint of Jack Daniels, yeah, a pint of Jack Daniels, yeah, and then, but right now, since we're in Lent season, you know, okay, I know it's not much of a how do you say, a commitment, but okay, now, like, I'm not drinking any alcohol, I'm just drinking wine, yeah, so I don't know if that's you know, because I figured, because I could let go. I remember last year, what happened was I still had these kind of anger issues that, so now, like, I think I resolved that in my life, where the anger issues were like, if I just like got really mad, then I would kind of in a sense explode and just, you know, you know, to the point where, like, you know, I would be I never thought I would do this, but it's like I was like punching doors and punching the fridge and just, you know, punching like a lot, but in a sense I felt like I needed to, because it's like I felt like I was being taken advantage of. So that's kind of like the helper. So it's like maybe not being able to communicate what you want because the way you are, because we're vulnerable. It's like it's hard to say no to people for me. I mean, it's easy to do it now, but back then it was really hard for me to say no. So like I just, you know, because I wanted to help, right? And I think people like took advantage of that.
People will. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's like knowing how to say no. Like I'm gonna go back to that story where last year during Lent, I gave up, you know, everything. Even during that time, like I was doing like a little meth, but then just like not a lot. But you know, I remember like just like stopping it, and I could stop, you know, just stopping it, and you know, just being more focused. And during that time, I remember I had this like issue with my girlfriend, or like I guess ex right now, and so where she got mad because I went for a run, because I do, you know, I still like keep active, right? So I went for a run, and then she thought I was ignoring her, and then I just started, running, and she thought I was ignoring her. She followed me in her car, and then she got mad to the point where, like, she, like, I'm not coming back, And then I'm like, here I am trying to make my life better, and then you're like saying these things that hurt me, and so because of that, I kind of just like went on another, like, a really minor. It was only a weekend, like a meth kind of like not binge, but just like, I met a friend and started, we just hang out and just started using it, and then eventually, we came back. So it's kind of like this on and off, yeah.
That's good. So you've been a year clean from it, so
Yeah.
keep that going if you can.
Yeah,
Man.
and the thing is, like, I can't be addicted to that because the recovery time is too much to the point where, like, damn, like there's like it's not really, like I said, it's not a stable, how do you say it, a stable place to be. Like, it's fun, but then it's like, oh, you can't sleep, and then you eventually, so like I'm able to catch, at least able to catch where it gets too accelerated, to the point, yeah, like, okay, like things are not going as they should. Yeah.
At the time that you were kind of going through the cross-dressing and whatnot, did you have people that were like accepting to your lifestyle?
They were what? Accepting? The gays?
They were the ones who were more accepting
Yeah.
the most.
I had this gay friend, and I was trying to, and he was good at singing, and that's why I would hang out with him, because I would, try to record him, because I do know, like, some recording. I use Pro Tools, so I would visit him, and he was doing that, and then also it's kind of the funny thing about the meth thing. It's like it's never that I was out looking for it. It's always the people that that just, like, bring you to it, and so, and then I then we do it, and then I do the cross-dressing, and then some of them, if they're okay with it. I mean, the thing is, like, yeah, like, they're okay, but not really. But it's like, oh, they just wanted someone to do meth with, and so, yeah, and so, that's kind of what happens, and so it's like it always comes. I'm like, how does it always come? Like, it just seems like why is it the people you associate? And it's like when I met them, they weren't doing it, So it's kind of funny that it just, like, it somehow comes back. So it's like I'm trying to, like, repel it. But it's always like, I met them and they were not doing it, and then all of a sudden they just kind of like, oh, like, hey, like, I'm doing this, and try some, and so, yeah, so, and I'm like, me being like, because I've tried LSD, I've tried Molly, I've tried shrooms, yeah, like, I've tried a lot of things, yeah. I think, yeah, that's about it, yeah. Is there any other drugs that I missed? Like, I haven't done ketamine, and it's not like I want to, but when I hear the stories, I'm like, it sounds interesting, but... it just seems like another. At the end of the day, it's like another demon to deal with, right?
Get over.
Yeah, and so. Yeah, I'm at a point where, like, just. Yeah, like, not wanting to, to be in that, and slowly and surely it's getting better. So that's what I think, yeah.
That's good, though, brother. Keep it strong.
Yeah.
At any time in your life, well, you said that came kind of late. Were you ever maybe bullied for it, even down the line? Had you kind of started
bullying for what?
the cross-dressing, anything like that?
No, because I was an adult, and it's like, how can you bully it as an adult? That's kind of like, it's kind of like something that happens to kids, Yeah, like, I was in my late 20s when I started, kind of a late starter. Yeah, like, I guess the diaper stuff, I was really embarrassed by it. But so that's why I just, like, always, like, kept it in. Yeah,
private.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So in a sense, yeah, like, I was, like, okay with just as to the point I was in public like that, then I was okay with it, So even to this day, like, I'm like, yeah, like, now, I kind of wish I didn't, but hey, it already happened. There's not much you can do, and you just kind of move on with life, So, yeah.
Have you may have lost friends or relationships? I feel like one of yours as well too. Over time, just going through the cross-dressing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, and yeah, like I said, hey, like, I mean, there's not much you can do. You can't change the past, so
Yeah.
it's like, what are you gonna do, Yeah, so yeah, I did have a good friend, but like I said, we started doing that stuff, because he brought it, and then yeah, I started cross-dressing, and it's like he was okay, but to the point, And I guess since I guess my thing is like if we're both doing meth, then all hands are off the table, and I could just like even be in a diaper, and so that's kind of that's what I did, and that's I think to the point where like, and also we would get into these big arguments, so like because he's all like, I guess we like to have like interesting conversations, but if you disagree like about ideas, I guess okay, like I'll tell my idea, he tell his idea, and then we're not sure where this goes. And so I'm not sure if it was because we were having these arguments or if it was because of the fetish, but maybe a little bit of both. If if I'm really thinking about it, So
You already said there's nothing in your childhood that maybe started any of this.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah, and it's something that I've like thought about. I'm like, damn, like why am I like the weird one, And it's like, but once you enter the world of FetLife and all these things, it's like, damn, like there's
There's a lot of
levels.
people.
Yeah, so you think you're weird, like there's people that do way more wacky stuff. Where I'm like, yeah, like even I'll draw the line at certain points, Yeah, and it's like I'm not. Yeah, I kind of wish I was like, I guess the term is vanilla, where like you kind of like the sex is simple, we just do this and that's it. But for me, this I guess it's really what's fascinating, and one of the ways that I kind of maybe kind of deal with it. So instead of like if after Lent, if I still want to use a diaper, and this is what I was doing before Lent, is if I want to use a diaper, just check off. Sometimes if you just like shoot one off, and then you kind of just come back to your senses.
Kind of relieve yourself of.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like that could be an addiction, but no, like for me, like that one is like, because if I do it once, like I won't do it for like maybe like I won't have the desire to do it for like a week, Like if I just do it once and just get then I just kind of okay, like so I'm getting back to your senses, and yeah.
Now, well, I'm all over the place. Tell me, maybe your favorite memory as a kid, and how was your upbringing too as well?
Yeah. Favorite memory as a kid. That is a good question. Okay, because I remember, even though my brothers, we have a good relationship. There was four of us at the time, and somehow me, yeah, I guess I'm the only one who went to university. So like I'm like the smart one, even though I don't, like it's kind of weird to say, right? Because somehow we put intelligence on a pedestal that doesn't even deserve. I remember like they would all gang up on me, if I had, if I was right about something, and so there was some there was some trauma, but overall, like as brothers, we get along, right? And luckily, right now we do get along. But I think as a kid, I think I remember even hearing my brother apologize. Oh, like we were too mean to him, like as a group, So it was kind of like 3 against 1, So there is that. But other than that, I enjoy playing Nintendo 64 with my brothers. I think that would have been like the best memory, Yeah, because we did have good times. And what was like the other part of the?
Did you have well, I kind of say going into your childhood, but did you have both your parents on that growing up?
Yeah, what?
Both your parents growing up?
I guess. Oh yeah. So I'm a child of divorce, and they divorced when I was in 4th grade. Yeah, and I remember at that time, it's like I'm just like kind of like zoned in as a kid, and I'm like, like I know I should be emotional about this, but I'm like it's not that big of a deal, But now that as an adult, maybe it was a big deal. I don't know, because they say having your father is really helpful, right? Yeah. So like they went through divorce, and I remember this one time in the divorce while it was happening. My dad was look, he's done a lot of good things, but this one time was he I got hurt in the face, and he kind of used that. He was like, let me take a picture, and I was like, why are you taking a picture of specifically my face? And but his excuse was, oh, he's doing it because he wanted to have like a photo, like a family, some kind of memory photo. And later, you kind of realize, oh, he was just using it as a court thing.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was like, and it's like, can I?
On record, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, even though I caused that to myself, I was like, pretending to do some kind of jackass stunt at the house, and then I scraped my face while doing it, and then I was like so embarrassed, and then when that happened, and so like so just for that to be like I didn't tell anyone it was, that's how I got it, like I was playing around as a kid, and what happened was like it was kind of used as a tool, right, to get leverage in terms of a court case, right? So I thought that was yeah, maybe that's something to reflect on. But overall, I still love my dad, and we still have a good relationship with each other, even though they're divorced. He's in Mexico right now.
I'll say, did he ever know anything about any of the fetishes, anything like that?
Like, when I was really going through it, I remember I just sent him one of it where it's like, well, I just sent him one picture, and he didn't say anything, and he's never brought it up. So it's like, okay, that's kind of like, some people just ignore it,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, whatever, he's going through it, and then everything just goes back to normal. So yeah, he's never brought it up. I never brought it up, and yeah, but I guess during that time, I just had to, I don't know, how to tell someone, kind of like realizing, what the issue is, or just working through the issue, even though like that's not the way to work through the issue. But when you're high, you seem to have like found a genius solution. But at the end of the day, it's like, no, that's not the way to do it. So yeah. So it's like, what else can you do?
Tell me, what was your maybe worst memory as a kid, or just in life in general?
I guess I could say one that just kind of popped up is when I was a kid. Like I wet the bed, and then my uncle, he was a young uncle, so we were like kind of like not even many years apart, but he was older, and he said, oh, like if you don't do this, then I'll tell everyone that you wet the bed. And I was really embarrassed for some reason, right? Like when you're a kid, you don't want that to come out when you're a kid. And I think I was in also like the 4th grade.
Yeah.
And then so that's kind of like one thing that I remember happening. Another, I guess, breakups are hard, and so it's funny because there's always this thing of like they break up, and then the next day they come back, and they break up, and then and they're mostly doing the breakup. So like as I think as an adult, that's kind of like, hey, like I thought we had this plan to like stick together or something, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, like in that sense, that's always a pain,
Maybe tell me, what's your biggest lesson you learned in life?
Biggest lessons: don't crash out. Jesus is king. That'll be the biggest ultimate lesson. There wouldn't be any ultimate lesson than that. Because that's like the end all be all. So yeah.
Like, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely appreciate your story. Go ahead, bro.
Okay. What was that?
No. I thought you had something to say.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks.